I just published this book, which has only been out just a brief time, and it's a 200 plus page book that documents 6 neighborhoods in Singapore that are all at the brink of change. So I spent 5 years undertaking this project, and I went to these. It took a long time to find the neighborhoods, and then when I got there, it took even longer to find representatives from each community who were keen to be a storyteller and be interviewed. So I spent time interviewing them, photographing them, and the role they serve is they add a face to each neighborhood. And of course I have background information about each place, but their voice serves as kind of a longtime resident or merchant who is able to tell us basically why they value their community. And in the book, I tried to ask the question, does the environment shape the people, or do the people shape the environment? And I think, without a doubt, without these people living there, every neighborhood would be substantially different. I didn't take any photos here in Tiong Bahru because I feel like it's been in the limelight so often, like in the newspaper. So I tried to cover areas that were less documented. And the neighborhoods that are featured in the book are Kampong Lorong Buangkok, Seletar Camp, Pulau Ubin, People's Park, McPherson, and Queenstown. Okay, and let me see. I was asked recently what my inspiration for the project was, and I suppose the inspiration would be, I've always loved visual storytelling. And my background is a documentary filmmaker. So I wanted to set a new challenge for myself. I've never done a coffee table book before. And as we all know, ebooks are kind of gaining prominence, and I don't know, I'm hoping these books will be around forever. But in the meantime, I wanted to try my hand at crafting a coffee table book. So the inspiration was, after living here in Singapore for 12 years, I wanted to get to know the place on a different level, and in a deeper way. So I, with the help of translators, who were often students of mine or graduates from Ngee Ann Polytechnic, we explored all the basically 6 corners of Singapore and tried to bring it to life in this book. So I think the best thing to do now is I'll pass it around and you can take a look and see if it holds your interest. The book is, let's see, we also have photos from the book that basically, I have a flyer here that lists, if you're interested in ordering any photo from the book, that can be done. However, the only photos that are unavailable are the archival photos that I don't own. Those are owned by the National Archives of Singapore. Okay. And some other notes about the book would be the youngest person in the book, who's featured in the book, she actually wasn't born when I started the project back in 2009. Now she's about 4 years old. And so Lucy Leong is from Seletar Camp. She's the youngest person in the book. The oldest person in the book is from Pulau Ubin. She's over 90 years old, Madam Asaya. So you can find her in the Pulau Ubin chapter. And I'll be here all night, or for some hours. So if you have any questions, please ask. If you'd like a book signed, let me know. And I'd like to invite everybody here. Shortly we'll be serving champagne and wine, complimentary. So thank you for coming to Books Actually tonight.
So what's next?
Oh, what's next? I've had people ask if there's going to be a Parting Glances Part 2. I'd like to think so, but it might take a little time for me to recover from doing this one, because it was a lot of work and I had to take time off from my full-time job. I had to take 6 months off when we were very busy with the editing and the final writing of the book. So it's hard to do that because even right now my leave is reduced for the next few years because I brought my leave forward to do this project. So I'll try to do part 2 in the future. But for the time being, I'm busy promoting this one. And I'm working also on getting the photos shown. We had the photos exhibited in July and August at the National Library of Singapore. And now I'm working on getting the photos displayed in Japan.
Just one more question. That is, what's the most memorable experience you ever had, in making this project possible?
Okay, it's a good question. I'll tell you, maybe the most emotional moment came at Salita Camp. Maybe I can just borrow this for a second. The most emotional moment came when there were a lot of people who had to move out of Salita Camp before it was remodeled. Now it's being altered to give way to the Salita aerospace development. So a lot of people, such as Lisa Shed, residents from Salita Camp had been living there for sometimes 20 years, and now they were asked to move. And so I went to photograph them on the very last day that they went to visit their house. So in Lisa's case, she was upset because the construction crew had already come into her house and they had started breaking it down. And so it was quite emotional for her, and there were tears because even though they had rented the property, they grew close to the neighborhood. That was probably the most emotional day. And there was a woman, unfortunately, at Salita Camp who I met, and she doesn't appear in the book, but she passed away during the making of the project. So even though she's not in the book, it was, to my knowledge, she's the only one who passed away in the past few years. But I would say the Salita Camp was the most touching.